This video will show you how to add products and change attributes on the Hogtown Lacrosse website. So we are using a WordPress input. So you can always log in from here or on the home page. There's a little login thing there. Put in your username and your password. You're going to site admin, and so this is the inside. This is the dashboard. You can edit a bunch of things from here. So here are users. These are all the users that we have over here. The two main roles that you'll be using is administrator and shop manager. The shop manager can edit a lot of products and almost everything except for certain things like themes and social media links and stuff like that, which I will show you later. Also, customers can subscribe to the website and become a subscriber, or which is like the customer login, so they can't edit anything really, but we can view their orders and a profile if they choose to create one, get to know our customers a bit. So we're going to just go ahead and add a product. So it's pretty straightforward. You just have to follow all the prompts. Product name, you put the product name in. The categories. The categories are what shows up in the catalog. So if you go onto the live site, which I've opened up in a new tab here, and click catalog, the categories show up here. So in this case, let's say we want to add shorts. I'm going to add a new product category. I'm going to put custom sublimated shorts in. And then I'm going to put this as a team uniform thing. So I've in parent category, I've selected team uniforms, and it'll show up underneath. Add new product category. It automatically selects it for you when you add it from within the product. I'm also going to click team uniforms as well. So if somebody clicks team uniforms on this page, it'll show up there. It's not going to show up there right now because it is not, there's nothing in it yet. I haven't published it, so publish button is right here. So in the featured image, you can get one of the images from the library, and to put images in the library, you would grab them from AK. Alright, so that was just a little pause there, but as I was saying, I'm getting all the images from Athletic Knit here, and then saving them to the computer, and then just uploading them. So I'm going to grab this purple pair, set that as the featured image, and then I'm going to write down the product title. Sublimated shorts. Alright, so on this section is the publish button, save draft, so you can save it if you're halfway through, and there's also preview. So if you're not quite ready to publish it or you're not sure what it's going to look like, you can always preview it. I highly recommend previewing the item before you publish it. So right now, all that we've inputted is the title, the image, and which if you click on comes up bigger, and the category. So now I'm going to show you how to edit the other sections. So in this, we're going to have to put a description. I usually like to put the product features and the style code. So this one is ZL901. And I'll put in some points. There's bullets right there. So it'll be made in Canada. Let's see what else Athletic Knit has on these shorts. Doesn't really say much of a description. just leave it there for now. This one actually appears close right beside the image, so this product short description shows up right. Product short description shows up right there. Which, and this pair, I just have see below for garment features, which I'm also going to write in here. Canada, separated, do customizable. Now if we preview it, we'll see changes. So now it says see below for garment features there, and the product description that I just typed in showed up over here. Now this is the most complicated part right here, is the product data. There's simple product, that would be an item that you already have and want to sell or market, doesn't have any variables. So for example, a simple product would be size small purple shorts. You can't, the customer doesn't have the option of choosing a different size because that's all that's left. So like a real stock item, you would just put in the regular price. Alright, so you can put the regular price in there and the sale price if you choose. Most of the products on the Hogtown website are going to be variable products because you can select the size, the color, etc. So here's how you do a variable product. You put in the SKU in general, in attributes. So there are two ways of adding attributes. You can do a custom attribute, which gives you this box. The first thing I'm going to do is click on these two radio boxes. If you don't click those, they won't show up on the page, as it says. And then you can put something in like color. Then you can actually enter in each color's with separating values. So let's do green, just for example's sake. Red and blue. You have to separate them with this weird line, otherwise it doesn't separate them into fingers. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'll do blue, and then I'll put a comma and put yellow, and then we'll see what happens. So first you hit save. Now if we go to variations, say you wanted to assign a certain price to a certain color, you'll see here that we have the green, and it was separated with that line, and the red, and then it was separated, but the blue and the yellow were not separated because I put a comma there. So, because these shorts are sublimated, we're not going to give color options, but we are going to have size options. So you can add size in the same way that I just showed you, or you can add size through here. So this is a custom input that I have assigned to it, which I'll show you after you learn how to edit the basic product data. So if you add that, you're not allowed to change the title. You still have to check those off, but it already comes with all these values in, and you can add values as you go as well. So to add a new value, you would just say add new and type in the size, like maybe it comes in a 7XL or something. And what I usually do is select all, and then just eliminate the ones that it doesn't come in. You can also type, for example, you can also type them in. So if I start typing small, the S will show up and I can select it. So the youth sizes come in small to extra large, which I think we all have there, and the adult comes in small to 4XL. So I'm going to eliminate the 5XL and the 6XL and the goalie and all the ladies.
Yeah, there's some other ones that I think are better. Are you gonna like spam all your friends with all that stuff?
Alright.
You can't center that?
So now I'm going to press Save Attributes. These will show up in the variations. I'm going to add a variation, because you have to have the price. In this case, I'm just going to keep it as any size, and I'm going to put the price in over here. And now I'm going to save it and preview it again. So our price is shown up on the top. We have the size option with the drop down. We can select any of those. The last thing you would add is tags. So tags are pretty important because it helps you search items. So you can put anything that applies, maybe even things that don't apply if you want lacrosse to show up when they search it. But every time you insert a tag, so it remembers it, and you can click choose from most used tags, and they'll show up all down here. The ones that are the biggest are the most used ones, and the ones that are smaller are used less. So athletic, apparel, sports, cross, shorts, spring, summer, Toronto, youth. It's got some youth sizes in there. Put the word in sublimated. Team, uniform, etc. So that's pretty straightforward. On top of the featured image is product gallery. So if we maybe had images of the shorts in different colors, we could also add those to the gallery. You can select multiple items at once by pressing Shift. You can uncheck items. Just gonna add those. I'm gonna save the draft. Preview it. There it is. And as you can see now we have the gallery and it's got the different images in it. So what you don't want to do with the gallery is put the featured image in the gallery because it already appears there automatically, so I'm going to remove that. Because the sublimated shorts are all one, like they come specifically in those colors, I'm not going to put anything in the gallery right now, and I'm just going to publish it as is. Check that the tags are right. We already seen that we've already looked at it at the preview, so it's going to look exactly like that when we publish it, except now it's accessible to the public. So earlier I was talking about the attributes and how there are custom product attributes, and then there is color and size. When you first get your site, their color and size aren't in there. Those are things that you can add into this section right here. So there's attributes, and you can add an attribute. So as you can see, I have the color in here and the size in here, and then I have all the options that you could choose as well. There are also global add-ons. So global add-on is something that you want to add to all products, or like a large number of products without ever having to edit them. So for example, you could say, see here you have all products. You could also pick a certain category. So you could say maybe you only want to put back numbers onto onto the Hogtown apparel. So you can pick Hogtown apparel, and it'll only show up on the Hogtown apparel the option of back numbers. Click the new add-on group, and here it'll tell you what kind of form you're making. So you can choose checks boxes, radio button, select box, custom input text area, file upload, custom price input. So in this case I'm going to put custom input text.
You're doing shorts as well?
Okay, so I'm going to, yes, we're going with text. We're going to do the group name is back number. New option. I'm going to put numbers on the back over here. Printed numbers, because they're not going to be embroidered or anything like that. Give it a price of $10 for the edition, or $8 maybe. Minimum is 0. The maximum is 2, because we don't really want to go more than 2 numbers. I've seen a lot of people trying to get 3 numbers, but at an 8-inch size it looks very strange. It is possible, but we're going to avoid that kind of option. Unless you want to add it, then you can add it yourself with this tutorial. Anyways, after that you just save the global add-on, and that should appear in all the items in the Hogtown apparel. So we go into the catalog and check out Hogtown apparel. I am expecting to see the option to put on numbers on the back. There it is, back number, and it should only allow you to put in 2 characters, and it does. It also will adjust the price for you. So you choose your options, true royal and a large, and you've added the $8 to the original price, which is $33, and you get $41. You add the back name, the price will change again. So let's say that. And there you go. That's how you do the global add-ons and the attributes, and add the products. So I've mentioned categories a couple times in this tutorial. I'm going to just touch on the categories briefly. So the categories are what shows up on the side menu of your catalog over here. It's always good to have the live site on one page and your editing site on the other, so you can constantly check what's happening if you're updating and what's missing. So for example, if I go into custom sublimated shorts, which is the new category that we just added, there's no image beside it. But if I were to go into field lacrosse jerseys, this image shows up over here. So those images come from our product editing, our category editing section. So you can input the thumbnails here. So for example, team uniforms that don't have anything, custom sublimated shorts don't have anything. I'm just gonna edit that and put in an image. And grab one of the neat looking shorts here. And then I'm going to click update. Now, when I select custom sublimated shorts, the image shows up right there. And that's how you add images to the categories. You can also add categories through right here. So let's say we want to add a casual wear section. You put that in. The slug, just follow the instructions here. Usually all lowercase and contains only letters, numbers, and hyphens. I usually just spell the title in all lowercase, no spaces. That just shows up in, that only affects this section at the top here. So for example, when you could reach the casual wear section by going hogtownlacrosse.com /catalog /casual wear / then the product. That's all it's for. The parent is if it's a subcategory, the parent would be the category that it's under. But I'm going to put it under Hogtown apparel. And I'm going to I'm going to use a dry fit golf shirt, which we don't have in here. Oh, there it is. There's a dry fit golf shirt right there. There's that image. And then add new product category. And it should appear. So on the side of the categories, you can see how many products are in it. Anything that has 0 products will not actually show up on the live site, because it would just be a dead link, and that always looks bad. So that is it for the first tutorial of using the WordPress-based website. In this video, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on Corel, which is our main program here. So I'm going to use a practical example of some of the things that we do, or the majority of the things that we do here. I'm maybe not the majority, but one of the very important things that we do. So anyways, between the school year, like September to June, we send out a lot of promos and to the schools for different clubs. So for example, we have soccer and baseball, golf, badminton, etc. And we do like the team uniforms and stuff like that. So one of the promos that we send out is this one right here. This is a soccer one. As you can see, they're all very basic. Like most of the logos involve only 1 or 2 colors, and we use the Econo print to do this. So what would happen is we'd send out these order forms. This is the first page, this is the second page, and we get all these back. And then when we get them back all filled out, we would find out which item they want, and we'd have to take it off the order form. So let's imagine that somebody ordered item number 11. I'm just going to copy that to a new page. And it appears that I missed a piece of it. So I'll try that again. Oh wait, no I didn't. So this one comes out a little bit weird because it's on a blue shirt with a white foreground, and the background of our page is white. So I'm going to put a square behind it so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Here's a trick as well. If you right click on it, there's this order option, and that allows you to move shapes between each other. So I'm going to put this one 2 back, and as you can see, that's going to show up. So what we're trying to achieve here is our background. We want it to be blue. Well, there isn't really going to be a background when we cut out the Econo print, because the background is the color of the shirt. But just for editing purposes, I'm going to do it on a blue square so you can see what happens. I'm going to try and tell you a couple of the tools and tricks. So the most useful tools are probably the weld and cutout tools. So for example, I'll give you an example of a weld. A weld tool would take 2 shapes and turn them into 1 shape. So what a vector is it's different from a JPEG in the fact that you can blow it up or make it extremely small, and nothing gets ruined in resolution because vector doesn't really have resolution. They're all just shapes that grow and shrink together. So for example, if I wanted to make this star, I could zoom in exponentially and it would not. There are no pixels. This image over here was made also by Vector, and each color there, each gradient, is actually a different shape entirely. It's now a JPEG because you have to turn it into JPEG to put it on the screen as a background, but they're great files for if you're making banners, because you can make them huge and not lose any resolution and have good print quality. So what I'm doing here is I've duplicated the star shape that I've made, and I'm rotating it to make a shape. So right now we've got 2 different shapes. There's that one, and then there's the one underneath. But I want the shape to look like this together. So if you select them both, also in Corel, you have to select around the whole object for it to select something. For example, if I want to select pirates and I just get that much, it only selected what was in that space. It didn't select the outside box or anything else. So anyways, if I want to select both of these, I'm going to click that, and all the important tools come up here. So there's weld, there's trim, intersect, simplify, front minus back, and back minus front. The 2 I use the most is back minus front minus back, and weld. So I'm going to show you what the weld does. So now this shape has become 1. You can even see that the outlines changed just to be around that whole thing. You can't separate those into different stars anymore. And then what the back minus front or front minus back would do is, if I wanted a hole within that star, I would select those 2 shapes and remove it. And now you have a full shape with a hole in the middle. If you wanted to do something like Swiss cheese, where you've got multiple items that you want to remove, you have to group them. Okay, so let's say I wanted to select all of these and remove them from the square at the back. Oh, that actually worked pretty well. Sometimes it doesn't work, and the reason why is because when you have multiple items, it doesn't know which one, like in multiple layers, it wouldn't know which one. So perhaps if I did it like that. Oh, it still works. Anyways, 2 group items. You select them all first. If you right click, there's the option to group, or Control G. And now whenever you touch one of them, it will actually select them all. And then you can, and I just won them by accident. So, back to our promos and why that information is useful. If we go up into the top section where it says View, we can see the wireframe, and it looks like that. Now, when we send, basically you have to imagine that this whole image is in one color, which means it's one sheet that we're cutting it out of. All these lines are getting cut, and then somebody has to weed the excess parts out. But when you have this many intersecting lines, it's really difficult to weed in the image. So, when we get the promos back, our job is to get all these images into the right size and cut them out, and then get them on the shirts. So I'm going to show you how to do that really quickly. So right now I've got this shape in the back, which I suspect is the color, and it is, because I can change it, but that's really supposed to be the same colors of blue, which means it's not really there. It's supposed to be part of the shirt. So I'm going to use our our back minus front, or front minus back feature, and remove it. And as you can see, it turned blue because it's showing the background of this square, so it worked. Now, if you look at the wireframe, there's like a circle thing going on over here. So what that is like the hexagons are separate, and then there's a circle in the back, and then the circle is on top of all those lines. So I'm going to zoom out for a second. What you should do is make a second page, in case you lose any information. We're going to copy that and paste it. And the nice thing is that it pastes in exactly the same spot. So if I were to accidentally move something off center and I wasn't able to get it back, I could go to page 2, copy it, paste it exactly back where it was. So we're on page 1 right now. That's a big circle, as I suspected. So I'm going to select that. I'm also going to select the thing beside it behind it by pressing Shift. And now I'm going to remove it as well. You will notice that the circle appeared to get thinner. That's because there was an outline around it. And when you remove the shapes, it just removes the shape with no outline. The outline doesn't add any width to it. Now I'm going to check the wireframe again. And I'm still having an extra line around here. So I'm going to try to figure out what's causing that and eliminate it. So I'm going to click something. You can use the arrow keys to move something because it'll move it exactly the same space back and forth. So I pressed it once and I press it again, it moves exactly back to where it was before. So what I've noticed there is that that's not touching the outside border. So I'm going to select the outside border and I'm going to weld those two. Now I'm going to look at the wireframe, and it looks the same as when we look at the enhanced version. So that is how the logo should look when it's ready for print. In this case, we'll be printing it on a we'll be printing it on a white sheet and putting it on a blue shirt. So if you were going to the next stage, which is cutting, you'd rename this page to white. And then it actually doesn't matter what color the image is. I'm just going to group it so things don't move around. the color so we can see it better. It's going to be printed out on a white sheet, so it doesn't matter. And the images for the sizing images can be found in the cutting tutorial. Basically, the biggest width it can fit across a shirt is 8.5 by 11. These ones, the soccer ones, tend to be longer lengthwise than widthwise, so we're going to type in 8 in the height area. This is also a very useful part of Corel, is you don't have to shrink and stretch things. You can put in the exact size into the input over here, and this represents that it's locked. So if I put 8 in, it grows it proportionally or shrinks it proportionally. If I unlock it and put, alright, so if you unlock it, you can shrink it not proportionally. So if I put 9 in here, it'll stretch wider to 9. But we usually don't ever do that unless we're doing text on the sleeves, because those sometimes end up coming out kind of funny. So as you can see, it takes up the whole page. The Econoprint rule sheets are in 14.2. So if you are not selected on anything, up here the page attributes will show up. So I just make the width 14.2, and then 30 is a good random number. And then if you had, say, 6 orders of these, you would orientate these in a fashion in which you could print 6 very well. Also, the rotate button is up here, or not button, feature. That way you don't have to like swing it by hand, you can just actually rotate it by typing in the angle. It's probably the most optimal way of fitting them together and get that many on and take up the most space. Because the more space you lose, the more money you're burning. You can always use this space to put in hood logos. Hood logos are on the back of the promo sheet. So for an additional $4, you can get this soccer ball on your hood or sleeve, and you might as well print those out. Those go to about 2 inches, so that you fill up the space and get the most out of your material. And those are some of the tricks you can use on Corel. Alright, so another trick you can use is the contour line. The contour is used for things like this. There's a pretty extensive instructional report in the cutting tutorial about what to do with text like this, or things that use contours. That would be good to print out and follow along with. So, like I said before, the width across the shirt is usually the size of the page, so this time this one is more wide than it is long, so we're going to make that 11 inches across. There we go. And you will see in object properties, if you right click select properties, this will show up. Or check here, and and we do not have an outline, but we should, so. Oh wait, we do have an outline. So, as I suspected, there is this weird big outline, and the problem with outlines is that when you do them in the wireframe, they don't show up. They just come out, they're going to cut out as lines, like it's not going to work. So you actually have to put in the outline as a shape. So first we're going to adjust the easy part, the main shape. I'm just going to change the outline color so we can see it a little bit better. First I'm going to cut that out. See how it works, and let's jump to the front. I'm going to drag this to attach better, and then pull it a little longer so the tail ends at the end of the lettering. Now I'm going to grab all the letters and weld them. I'm going to eliminate the outline altogether because we already know that it's not going to show up. Then we've got some weird things going on by the S in the tail. So I'm just going to go in there and edit the points, which you use. Which you use the shape tool right underneath the pick tool is what you can use to edit points.
Really? I'll see you tomorrow.
Alright, bye.
Bye. Alright, see you guys tomorrow.
Oops. So I'm just going to move that over there. It looks a little better. Move this here. It's nice and smooth now. Move that one. That one straighter. So now we have to figure out the outline part. I'm just going to clear off our page 2. And we're going to copy it, paste it, so don't lose any information. So for the outline, there's also the contour window, which if it's not already in your Corel, it's under Window, Docker's Contour, or Control F9. So I usually select to the outside, so it's going to make the contour based on the outside of the shape. Which, first you have to select the shape. And then you can pick a number over here. And apply it. We'll see what happens. So we got a contour around it. It's not quite as thick as I wanted it. So I'm going to undo it. And you don't have to undo it, you can actually just keep adding. And that was too big. Almost. So it'll probably be. And that looks pretty good. So, the contour we still have to turn into a shape, which you do by arranging and breaking the contour group apart. After you move that, this should be a nice full shape. We're going to check by looking at the wireframe, and it is. And I can actually just remove the back from the front on this guy. And then we will do, so now it just looks like that. So, we can print this out separately. Actually, we won't need this part from this part. but there needs to be a little bit of overlap so that parts of the shirt doesn't show through. So again, you can do a contour on this one, but just make it a lot smaller. So there, that's not too noticeable. I'm going to arrange it to put a contour apart, and I'm going to weld it. And that should do it. And then you can multiply it as many times as you want and cut it out.